a scion of many worlds. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission," her communications officer says. "Obviously. Otherwise, you wouldn't be from Lacron 297. The world is sending out further distress calls?" "No, it's a full-on broadcast. It's on every legally accessible channel," the officer states, and Captain Irontail sighs to herself. "Very well. It's not like anything else interesting is going on. On screen." Music blares out of the speakers, brassy horns and enthusiastic drumming. A series of banners are swept away, some of them emblazoned with the image of a hulking Urthani with a weapon and shield in one claw and a book in the other, the others emblazoned with a purple primal Nagasha wrapped around an egg and reaching out as if to hug the person who sees them. After nearly 10 seconds of the banners being pulled back and brought to attention, the view pulls back to show that each one was the banner of a guard. The camera then pans down to reveal Lady Tycanped, Speaker of the Council. But what catches Captain Irontail's attention are the 3 banners at the back. They have the symbol of the Undaunted. Is this a military coup? One authorized by the Speaker? My fellow sentients, today is a wonderful day. It is my honor as both speaker and a pivotal planner in these wondrous events to announce the simultaneous founding of a unified Lacron 297 and the marriage of their emperor and empress. The first primal Urthani, Emmanuel Skitterway, conqueror and warlord of the Undaunted, and the now formerly lost primal Nagasha, Izarizan of the White Flow, beloved mother of Lacron and immortal queen of serpents. "What the hell?" Captain Irontail demands as her eyes widen. The music rises around him as he walks through the chamber. He's as much sauntering as stalking as walking, his movements smooth and predatory. His fur has been brushed into a streamlined pattern to cut down on the poof and make him look less like he has a Pomeranian in his ancestry. He's wearing a combination of his formal uniform and the numerous little adornments from the local groups. His cape of office from the Star Seekers, a pendant from the Grand Midwives that signify him as an honorary paladin. They were justifying that by stating his aid in the Bright Dawn riots, and the enormous gift of the shuttle afterwards would have won him a title if the circumstances were anywhere approaching normal. He stops at the end of the chamber in front of a pair of thrones and turns. The music shifts, and the family of both himself and Isarizen begin to lead in the representatives. His brother on the left side from his own perception, but the right from where the camera drone is floating. Horus offers him a quick salute in his own. His mother beams at him and is living up to the family name as she's nervous, proud, and 1,000 other emotions that she can barely keep contained. He can't actually remember seeing her happier. With her little boy back from the dead, making history, marrying a nice girl, and getting a rock-solid job, he supposes it more or less is a dream come true. Magrika is in a dress that's clearly been armor reinforced right behind her, and Lady Allure is in armor that shines like a mirror with a tabard that has his symbol over it. The ghost white form of Arlene of the White Flow emerges in a shimmering white gown that was clearly inspired by Lady Tycanped's own outfit. Following her in matching outfits are 4 of Isarizen's eldest daughters, freshly rejuvenated from decrepitude to vibrant youth and carrying with them the grace and dignity of age alongside their youthful beauty. Behind them is none other than Lady Tycanped, arm in arm with Admiral Cistern in his own formal uniform. They take their places, stepping to the side. Following them both is a chaotic bundle of tiny Nagasha girls of all types that spread flower petals everywhere and laugh in amusement at everything, blissfully unaware of just how big the ceremony is for how much they're laughing as they ensure a thick carpet of pastel flowers behind them. Then Isarizen emerges, clad in a white dress that shimmers so brightly that Emmanuel's naturally shining fur is the only thing that can match it. The music swells as she slithers at a stately pace down the chamber. Then, as she arrives, she comes to a rest opposite of Emmanuel, and Lady Takanped raises her hands. Admiral Cistern nods and begins to speak. Dear guests and honored representatives, we are here today to unite, to bring together not just these two families through Iserisen of the White Flow and Emmanuel Skitterway, but the whole of Lacron 297. Let these differing families and these divided peoples be brought together into a greater whole. Let this day be the first moment of a better future. I am Admiral Garfield Cistern, leader of the Undaunted, and officiating this ceremony in my power as Skitterway's commanding officer. Now, representatives, it is time for the oaths, Admiral Cistern states, and he steps back, and the first to walk to the center is the Metak representative. Under her arm is a bundle of furs, and she plants her wings onto the ground and rises up. The Mountain Clans calls to you both, you who would unify us all. Will we be able to hunt and thrive in our ways while in your shadows? Without a doubt, Emmanuel states. Of course, Iserisen replies. Will there be greater hunts and tests to come? Ways for us to grow stronger and more skilled? Will we see new horizons? You will, Emmanuel promises. We will see it happen. Iserisen adds. Then we fly beside you, to the hunt. The Metak says, holding up an offering that are revealed to be a pair of short shoulder capes. Both of them put them on before the representative moves off to the side to witness. Up next is a Jorgua elder. She gets to the point. Will you honor our ways and allow us peace? Without question, Emmanuel says. Yes, Iserisen replies. Good enough. This we recovered from the last great song. May they sing with your power, she says, bringing up a pair of Kutha amulets. May we see you at the next ceremony. The Orthani trill adds something fun to the bellowing music. I'll be there, Emmanuel says with a chuckle as she places the amulet around his wrist and around the wrist of Iserisen. Good, she says and moves to the side. Then rises the representative from the fierce feather tribes. She stalks forward and paces for a moment. All the tribes together could not best you in battle, nor in the contest of tales. By our laws, it matters not what you stand for. You are the superior warrior. We fly with you, she says before unveiling her gifts, a ceremonial sword that she holds up while kneeling low. Emmanuel takes it and offers her a salute with it. Hold your head high, warrior. I saw great skill in that battle. There is no shame in losing to one such as I. Hold yourself to your oath, and I will show you the secrets of greater strength, but only so long as you carry yourselves with honor. Then we fly as one, the fierce feather tribeswoman says before rising up and bowing. She then walks back to her place before a pair of Nagasha slither in. They each hug Iserisen, who returns the gesture gladly. Then they turn to Emmanuel, flanking her on either side. We, one says before looking to the other, you are wedding our mother. What does this mean for us? It means I shall fight for, teach, and protect you as if you were my own, he answers. Then the Serpent Empire and the Empire returned stand with you, father, the other says, and they each show a pair of bracelets in the form of serpents, one for each of Emmanuel's wrists and Iserisen's lower wrists. Thank you both, he says genuinely, and they smile at him. The serpent-themed bracelets are beautiful and shimmer in the light, but are dull next to his fur. You've already broken our worst enemy and brought home so many lost sisters and daughters. This is more a formality than anything, the representative from the returned empire says. And thank you. You. If not for you, we wouldn't have ever gone home. Don't think so poorly of yourselves. You'd have made the right choice, he assures Ilariana. You were a good student when I taught you about the weather. You're smart enough to figure things out. She smiles up at him before following the other representative as three representatives walk up at once. Irumenta All, Zavia, a representative from Greenstone, and another from the Goldlands. We're here together. We are the same peoples with different ways of life. You have restored the dignity and broke the famine of the Greenlands. We stand with you." The first representative says, and she presents a pair of jeweled bangles to each. One of each pair is a ruby and the other a pearl, fire and water for a coastal region rich in metal. The bangles fit flawlessly into the pierced holes of Isarisen's hood and around two of Emmanuel's antennae. Next is the representative from the Goldlands. "You freed the river and broke the drought, dealt with us fairly even when we refused to, and shared your knowledge with those that dealt with you fairly. We can see which way things are going, and our people have spoken. We are with you." These bangles instead have jade and tiger's eye in them. Again, they go into hood piercings and around antenna. Then Zavia steps up. "Lady Isarisen, your illustrious reputation as mother of all serpents needs no clarification, needs no elaboration. To stand with you is to stand with a goddess of mercy and motherly love. This is going to be odd, but as father has decided to be wed to you, I suppose that means I will be your daughter as well," she says, offering up the diamond and onyx bangles to Isarisen, who takes them gladly and kisses her on the head. She then turns to Emmanuel. You broke my throne, took my crown and shattered my power base. You then took me in as your child, healed me of every ailment imaginable, taught me, protected me, gave me room to grow and learn. You cut the strings of those who would manipulate me, showed me their true faces, and then gave me my crown back, repaired my throne and promised to protect me. I still don't fully understand why, but you have only brought health and wealth and pride to Miru. I may not understand you, Father, but I stand with you, and so do my people." The diamond and onyx bangles fit perfectly over his antenna, and he gives her a hug, then adjusts a lock of hair out of her face before she moves back to her place. The next representative is Elder Granzi, singing in trill speech. "The time has come, I do declare, to speak of grand things, of oaths of loyalty and protection, of wisdom on wings. The story of the serpent is long and tragically sung. The story of the moth rises like the sun. Betwixt you both we shall find a greater trail upon which to fly. The grief is quenched, the glory rises, for you both is an oath, sworn by us. We are yours, Holy Mother and Sacred Father." During her speech, she produces a pair of silken sashes with images upon them. They are then sent flying towards Isarisen and Emmanuel, and they tie themselves to their belts. Emmanuel with the symbol of Isarisen upon his, and Emmanuel's upon Isarisen's. The symbolism is obvious. Elder Granzi gives both a low bow and returns to her place. Then there is a brief distraction as two of the flower girls get into a minor scuffle with each other, and Isarisen is the one to break them up before any of the handlers can even start to move. That is always how you've seen yourself, always the mother, never the ruler, Boyle Coyle states as she slithers into position. Isarisen is already back in her spot. "I don't know how you can forgive all those like me. We left you, abandoned you, but you still have only shown us love." She then turns to Emmanuel. "And you are just scary in a fight. Good grief." She gestures from Emmanuel to Isarisen in turn. "From the most deadly thing on this planet to the most gentle thing on this planet, I don't know what's going to happen next, but I know it's something that will only benefit us if we're on board. So weigh anchor, Bright Dawn ships out with your flag, me hearties." Her piece said she presents a small case of richly lacquered wood and brass fittings that she holds up for Isarisen to take. She does and unveils the masterfully crafted spyglass within. She then takes a bow and slithers off to the side again, and the gray old Lyrak representing the free cities walks up. She leans on a cane and looks over them both. "I'm old, not senile. I know what's going on. I can see which way things are going, and I know it's nothing but folly to try and stop or even protest this. No woman is wise if she fights something without a chance of winning, so I won't. Lakran is yours. Just remember, we are the free cities, not the limited cities, not the free-ish cities, the free cities. We do business, we live our lives, we thrive our own way. We'll follow laws and rules, but if they tell us we can't make our choices, that's where a problem is. I'll be fighting against any fool who tries to chain you. Isurizen promises, and the representative nods. I figured, which just leaves the crazy moth that we sent after a pirate ship, who chased it to the slaver empire and broke the whole damn thing like a nut under a boulder. You've got no love for limits. None whatsoever. And I have no intention of placing any on you, Emmanuel promises. Then this is yours. It represents the free cities. We're with you, she says, holding out a large piece of cloth that unfolds into an ornate and artistically crafted map of the cités. All on that map, and all made by the ones living there, we stand with you. Now let's get on with the rest of this. I'm old, I'm hungry, and I want to get to the after-ceremony feast. Not the dance, Horus teases before he can stop himself. With this hip? The old Lirak demands in shock. I'll wait till I get one of those magic naps before I try something like that. Smart move, Horus remarks as the map is folded back up, and Isurizen tucks it into a hidden pocket. Now that the peoples have given their oaths to the newly made couple, we would hear from the families of these two, beginning with the bride, Isurizen of the White Coil, daughter of lost dreams, although I have a feeling that title will change soon. The first movement is from Arlene as she slithers over to hug Isurizen. We lost you, and now the man that helped us find you is going to be your husband, something that's hard to find for a primal, a worthy husband. We worried so much about the what-ifs and maybes, but you went and found the first primal of another species for a husband. Whoever says primals aren't the best of us is clearly blind. She then turns to Emmanuel, and you better not make me eat those words. She's been through enough. There's some laughter as Emmanuel holds up his claws with a visible smile on his face. It can be just barely seen with his fur brushed back. I've made her dreams come true and reunited her with you. What more do you want? I know that, but I'm still protective and covering my bases. The threat is more obligation. Welcome to the White Flow. She bids him and he nods before she slithers back. Isurizen's daughters slither up next. They look to each other, then hug their mother before rushing up to hug Emmanuel. You brought us life again. You saved our children from torment, and now you're bringing your strength to us. Welcome to the family. They bid him in practiced synchronization. Thank you, he says to them both, and they retreat. And the groom's family? Admiral Cistern asks. Welcome aboard. You've seen this crazy train. Think you can slow him down enough to not hurt himself? Because it's a full-time job, Horus asks, and Emmanuel gives him a look. Horus holds up his hands in surrender. Welcome aboard, but you must know this family goes into cruel space as well now, meaning things are getting weird. I can handle weird, Isurizen assures him, and he nods. Then Dr. Skitterway skitters up, so nervous that her movements are now almost completely spider-like. She bids Isurizen to lean down, and when she does, she grabs the larger woman in a hug. My baby boy's back, strong, and now he's marrying a queen. This is a dream come true. If you need any advice on raising little Earthani, I'll be bringing as much as I can, she exclaims, and Isurizen returns the hug. After a few moments, Dr. Skitterway regains her composure and retreats back to her place, which is what signals Magrika and Lady Allure to walk up. So, sister wife, I'm told the title is, with head wife leading the pack? Magrika asks before chuckling and cracking her neck. Well, it'll be fun to see who stands on top of the heap. Are you honestly challenging the immortal Empress? Lady Allure demands Magrika. What? I like a challenge. While pregnant? Lady Allure demands. It's why I'm not jumping her now. Gotta look after the baby. Magrika says, patting her stomach. But seriously, Snake Girl, we're a team now. So when we're both fighting fit, I want to see just how far above your weight class you can hit. It'll let me know when you need help. Then Magrika backs off by herself and leaves Lady Allure standing alone. Well, she certainly demands attention. I welcome you to the family. Hopefully the little blue menace doesn't scare you off. Thank you, and she'd have to be scary for that to happen. Issa Reason replies. Oh, a challenge, Magrika calls out. Don't you dare, Arlene hisses. Enough, Admiral Cistern states. Private streams, the rings, please. From directly behind him and from opposite directions, 2 private streams step out, each one with a little case. He nods to them and gestures for them to move. Both privates rush up to one of the gigantic couple and hold up their cases on felt cushions. In Isirizen's is a shimmering band designed to fit over the claw of an Earthani, and the one presented to Emmanuel is a perfect fit for one of Isirizen's many fingers. Now, repeat after me, Admiral Cistern begins. With this ring, I, Isirizen, take you, Emmanuel, to be my lawfully wedded husband. With this ring, I, Isirizen, take you, Emmanuel, to be my lawfully wedded husband, Isirizen says as she fits the ring over Emmanuel's primary right claw. Through war and peace, through war and peace, in sickness and in health, in sickness and in health, forever and ever, forever and ever. With the Creator's grace, with the Creator's grace. Isirizen finishes as there are some sniffles among the audience. Emmanuel, repeat after me. With this ring, I, Emmanuel, take you, Isirizen, to be my lawfully wedded wife. With this ring, I, Emmanuel, take you, Isirizen, to be my lawfully wedded wife. He says as he slips the ring onto her right middle ring finger, through war and peace, through war and peace, in sickness and in health, in sickness and in health, forever and ever, forever and ever. With the Creator's grace, with the Creator's grace, Emmanuel finishes. Then by the power vested in me, I pronounce this couple husband and wife, Admiral Cistern says with a fond smile before sweeping his hand towards Lady Tycanped. And by the power vested in me as Speaker of the Galactic Council and officiator of its laws, as witness to the oaths of allegiance this day, I declare Lakran 297 a legally recognized empire under galactic law. May the Empress and Emperor rule justly over a prosperous nation. May their enemies fall before them, and may their reign never end, Lady Tycanped declares before snapping out her fan to hide the manic smile she can no longer resist. Captain, what do we do? The communications officer asks, as the cheering from the other side of the broadcast grows so loud she's forced to mute it in order to hear herself think. Emmanuel and Isirizen kissing had provoked quite the reaction. This is still a charity mission, it's just we have to contend with a legal authority now, and not just some jumped-up military power claiming to have authority. I need to speak with our sponsors, she says before leaving for her office.